Okay, well, hello everybody. I hope you're all having a good week so far. Um, I would love to kick off today and just share popcorn around and share how your Super Saturday went. If you hosted, I know that several hosted retreats or watch parties. And I would love to hear personally, I would love to hear your takeaways, like your top things that you kind of took away. If you have notes that you want to like kind of run back through. I just think there's so much value in after an event kind of debriefing and reminding yourself like, oh yeah, this is what one of my takeaways, or this is one of the things I want. Like Carissa, remember how she always used to say, what is your oh, how did she say that, your thing for immediate action, your takeaway for immediate action. I can't remember the exact wording that she used, but um I think that piece is really important too. Like that's one thing that we did like a debrief um after, just, and we ended up doing like a Q&A. Just, it wasn't really a debrief, it was just more of a Q&A. Kinley Severns and Justin and I hosted the Springfield location. I really liked doing it in a movie theater. It was kind of fun to have the big screen, and the tech part was not on us. So that was fantastic. um, but that was one thing that I was just thinking about going into. We didn't really plan training ahead of time because we're like, well, we're everyone's hearing like all the training, there's no reason to like beat a dead horse and come up with something that may not be applicable to the people that are there. So let's just do a Q&A. But the one thing that I really wanted people to come away with was what they really wanted to implement. Because it's one thing to show up and be inspired and hear a lot of good information, inspiring stories. But then like our when our feet hit the floor the next morning or Monday morning, then like what are we going to implement for action? So I'm going to mute so you guys can talk.
Hey, I just got here. What was the question?
We're going to talk about what we learned at Super Saturday, but nobody's talking.
I'll talk. Unless you want to talk.
Same. I have a lot to say, but Gretchen, go first if you
Okay.
want.
Good thing I brought my notes. This one was good. This one was so good. Um, Helped me clarify my word for the year. Let's turn that off, please. Um, which is to improve. Improve is my word for the year. And I know that the area that I want to improve in is personal development because that's just what my team needs in order to build, rebuild, and it's going to breathe new life and new inspiration off of my old people as well when they see that from my end. This was not covered in Super Saturday, but it was a thought that I had as a result of it. That I need to be, I have started implementing this as of yesterday. I need to be tracking my reached outs very specifically, not just how many, but I am tracking specifically how many business, how many product, how many popcorn, lighting fire, spinning plate messages, how many relationship messages. Because somebody, I think Alita said a while back, and we've been repeating the phrase, the work works. I feel like I've been working for a long time without seeing that the work is working. So my question to myself was, am I doing and focusing on the right work? And so I think tracking my reach outs more specifically, my goal for that is to see, the tracked goal grows. So that's what I'm doing specifically to see my reach outs and really just as a check for myself to make sure that I am actually doing the work that works because I'm working. I'm very consistent, very faithful about that, but I want it to be efficacious, effective work. So that was not something that was covered, but that was something that I came away from to implement right away, which I have started doing. Loved all of the health stuff. That was so good, so practical. Like the change towards gut health system, that's just very clear and intuitive. I had something else I was going to say. I'm getting through my health notes because that was not what I wanted to mention, because we were talking about implementation. Oh, I just loved that they got back to focus on the power of three. That's just right where I am at. And yeah, there's that tendency to overcomplicate. So definitely making personal recruiting, going silver again, using up those promo codes, looking for 3 people who will duplicate. That was another good little note that I have. All of that kind of stuff there. So that just goes along with everything that I've been hearing, thinking about, feeling that I need to be focusing on. I also loved the thing about the doing list. Did anyone else just find that to be so freeing and burden lightening? I don't know. That was just really great. I appreciated that a lot. So, yeah, that was. Those were kind of my applicable boots on the ground, put into action takeaways that I had.
Love that. And our and our Springfield location, I was just chuckling. The team culture. Those of you who were there, let me just see. I guess it was. Oh yeah, I guess it's Gretchen. You're the only one on that was at our Springfield location, but cracking up. Oh my word, you guys! It was so loud in the theater when Doctor what was his name, Shaw, was talking and like educating on gut health. Kenley's team doesn't care so much to learn about that. I mean, like it was kind of laughable. They were so loud. And then you could hear a pin drop, like on the business part, like when Sheila was talking Power of Three, all the things. And I was like, huh, this is interesting. So, I mean, it's just funny. And I think it was also interesting too, because I had a longtime customer that is interested in sharing. And Gretchen, thank you for encouraging her. You guys must have chatted a little bit more than I even realized when you guys were sitting next to each other. Because thank you for sharing things with her, because she's a very green personality. She's a nurse. I used to teach her kids piano lessons when I was in college. She's just super dear, sweet. I really enjoy her and love her. And I think that with nurture, she will grow. I think she could do really well with Plexus. But she's not interested in doing it for the money, but she did notice culture. I had about an hour and a half long conversation with her yesterday afternoon. Cause I just felt like, sometimes there's a nudge to jump on the phone with someone that she is invested enough to show up and drive an hour to Super Saturday. And anyways, I think things have, she has 5 children and, starting to get into the empty nest stage more and recognizing she has more time. But she recognized culture. And I thought that was interesting. And I did explain to her, I'm like, not everybody, which I think that made sense because we did a team picture and stuff. But, I was just telling her that teams have different cultures. And because she saw them doing like this funny, like TikTok type dance type thing or a reel and different. She's like, that is like so out of my comfort, because she's pretty like quiet and reserved. And so Chuck, I'm like, you don't have to be somebody else, to be who you are. You can be who you are in Plexus. But anyways, it was really funny just to see culture differences. And I don't think I've ever like co-hosted an event like that before. So we're usually all together at like huge Plexus events, right? Or it's like our team doing stuff. So I think it was kind of cool, just getting two very different teams together. And I was excited for everyone to hear Kinley's perspective too, because she's a newer diamond. She's a multi-star diamond. So, separate jewel legs within her team. And I'm pretty sure she works full-time still as a hairdresser. But I think it's really interesting with what she does, because she's so she's in person so much with her clients. She's like, I'm not interested in like quitting my day job. But I was like, how cool is that? Like a lot of her follow up, and probably I think that a lot of duplication comes because she's talking in person with people in her chair, and she's not afraid to talk to people. She is who she is. If you have ever been around her, like that's just what you see is what you get type of thing. um, she might drop a couple F bombs, but hey, really sweet and fun to just hear someone that's built it and it within her, culture and personality and who she is. So, anyways, not to belabor the point, but I did think it was interesting, just team culture wise and you know all the things. So, okay, totally rabbit trailing. All right, Brandy, you were going to share next. Tell us about your retreat.
I'll let Lisa and Amber were the ones. I just want to, first of all, since you just brought it up, I want to congratulate Amber and Lisa on being bold enough and brave enough to put that thing together, because I was just a guest. I had nothing to do with the planning. They asked me to come and do the trainings and the worship. I was just there as a guest. So I think it is absolutely, I am going to be honest, I wouldn't have done that. I would have been so scared. I would have done it with someone, but like they took the initiative to go ahead and just like, no, we're going to do this. And I told them there was 8 there. I could see that being 15 to 20 next year, 40 the next year. Like I can just see that it can only go up, like your first one is going to be the one where you're learning. And I can only see that getting bigger and better. And it was intimate and amazing. And, just congratulations to both of them, because that's not an easy feat at all. Okay. So my big takeaways, first of all, our group, the group that Amber and Lisa hosted, we loved the doctor and his graphics. We were like screenshotting every single one of them. They were so cute. And can I just say, this Super Saturday, they blew it out of the park, because last year, I'm not going to lie, I left so disappointed. I was like, people traveled to this. People took off time for this. It did not serve as a training last year. This year, I was like, this is what we came for. And like, I love that during our retreat, a lot of the things that we trained on was exactly what they implemented again, like the power of 3, like the mindset. When they brought up mindset, I was like, corporate cares about mindset, like there's just all these things. Alec, I'm pretty sure it was Alec. It was either Tarl or Alec that was the ones talking about mindset. Like it was just all of these things kind of coming together. But I agree with Gretchen. The power of 3 has been on our minds for probably the last month. I mean, it always is, but I feel like here lately we've been hearing it more. Like when we hear the diamonds in December, people talk, they're like, I just add 3 a month and build, 3 a month and build. And it's way easier than thinking of, well, I need 20 people, like, no, you need 3 that will share. Right. And I felt like putting that simply was nice. I also, so I did our worship, I did our devotion, and I wrote it about like our identity and our purpose on what we're doing here. And then Alec and Tarl come in and they're like, Plexus is a purpose. Like we are the purpose, and it has the health, the hope, and the happiness. I just love that they built belief in us and all the things that we already know, but it gives you a sense of comfort when corporate is on the same wavelength as you. You know what I mean? Like all of us, our small team cultures, the big team cultures, they are all differing, but we all still have one goal. And that is to help others. Like if you're blessed, be a blessing is one of like the greatest things that I fell in love with from the beginning. Anyway, it was amazing. Amber and Lisa did so many good things this weekend just by getting these girls together. We had a lot of breakthroughs, and I will say, I have quoted Amy Booker. Megan, you're going to have to remind me when this was. it was either on last Tuesday night's call or someone else quoted her on last Tuesday night's call about God is our, like, it's an audience of one. Like, we have to stop caring what other people think. And God is our audience. And just like you and Justin say, please God, please your husband, and do what makes you happy, right? And do as you please, as you guys say. Anyway, that is it in a nutshell. Loved it. This training, by the way, advisory board, top notch. It was so good.
We gave some really raw and honest feedback from last year. It would have been probably finer if you were in person in Scottsdale, but some of that we were like, cut. People are wanting meat, training, like gut health information, and I felt like from the beginning to the end they brought it. Like it was, I felt like the time passed quickly. I thought it was really fantastic information for everybody, whether you had been in for 10 years or new.
Creatine!
Yes!
I've been waiting for this. Also, I was gonna say one more thing about your training. Oh, we had this running joke at retreat that, hey, if they start mixing slushies, we're gonna hurry up and go make a reel or something. Like, that's gonna be our work time, because we were like, there better not be any slushies this year. No, they nailed it. They really did.
Yes. So agree. Okay. I think people just some people are getting bumped off. Maybe. I don't know. I was going to do a picture. Can you guys put your cameras on real fast? See if I can zoom this way. Let's see. Oh man, it's so tiny. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Let me do it this way. Okay. Wendy, I guess we still see your face at least. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, if you just hopped on, we're sharing takeaways from Super Saturday. Angie, do you want to go? Actually, wait. Lisa and Amber, since we're still kind of talking about your event, you guys want to share from a hostess perspective how it went, your favorite things, takeaways, what you're pumped about, taking action, people that came.
Yep, I can talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Again, thank you, Brandy, for coming, being our special guest. It would not have been the same without her. So don't let her say we did all that. We needed her there. I don't remember like how it came together, but Amber and I had that vision. She had a great vision for a lot of just little extra things that we did that I think were important for everybody there. And I feel like, I always believe when you do something like that, God knows exactly who's supposed to be there, and then they're going to be there. So, and I just never worry about numbers so much unless there's nobody coming. You know what I mean? I feel like he knows who's supposed to be there, and it was the right dynamic. And it was so good because they were all kind of at the same place, really. Like I felt like and that was good because we didn't have to like talk over somebody or talk under somebody. Like it was just, everything was good right where they were. And when we needed to deter one, we deterred all. Like, you know what I mean? When they were like, just helping them pour that belief into them and see what we see and they don't see, and what we know and they don't know, about that space they're in. They were all in that like almost gold, or maybe have backslid a little on gold. So it was so good. And, we did some great work with the vision boards and then things that you think they might know, but they don't know. Like they just, some of them are very new and they don't know, and some aren't very new, but there were just things that they just had to work through. And we were able to do that in casual moments and group moments, and it was really good. I would say the biggest thing I took away from Super Saturday, which I agree, I wasn't super disappointed last year, but that was my first one. Like I was just excited. I had all these people at the table and it was good, right? And it was fine. And I was like, shooting for Ruby. So I was so hyper focused. It didn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? But this year I was all in agreement after looking back, like this better rock it out good. And it did. Like, I believe that every part of it was so good. I love So I'm laughing a little bit because you were talking about how it got noisy during the product, and it probably got a little quieter for us because people were really engaged in that. But it makes me think, I've always had a philosophy. When you stay close to your product, big things happen. And that is what most people come in for. And so if you aren't, sometimes we're so focused on that next goal that we forget that maybe they come to us just because of product. So we need to be versed in that product, and we need to have the product we believe in. And I think that education was so good. And I think we have to stay close to the product and know everything we can about it. And if we don't, have a great resource to pull from, which I feel like we do for them. So that's just something that's always in my brain. I took away, there was lots of things, but the thing I have put a focus on this week, especially with the girls that were there, obviously I'm trying to plug them into Silver and Six, but I had a couple of people that were really excited about the messenger chats, like hosting the messenger chats. So this is what I've done, because I felt like they were excited, but were they really going to go for it? So I put them in a chat. Like, I explained everything I was going to do. I have a mock chat going, and I am so my daughter is the fake hostess. Okay. She is the mock hostess for this. And so I am literally putting everybody in, and it's taking them, I gave them till tomorrow because I wanted to roll that out just like I would in 15 minutes. And I wanted that to happen. So I've actually put that in place. So they pop in as a guest, and then I say, how do you know our hostess? And they come back, and it's been a little bit fun because they actually know my daughter. And so some of them do. So they're like putting in there, and then I treat them like a guest. So after they watch that tomorrow, I'm going to go in and I'm going to talk to them. So they know that's how that messenger, they can put that together themselves. I'm just duplicating it. So they know, like, I'm going to be like, hey, Rhonda, what was your favorite part? Like, what really resonated with you? What are your health goals? They're going to see me type that out. So they know how to go forward with that because they were excited about it. And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it all or none. I mean, that's how I feel. And I don't want to have to I want it duplicated. I want them to be able to do that. I'm giving them some time to get maybe a few of their people in there, but that is good. I loved that part too. I saw the numbers in that. I see a lot of numbers, and I laid it out. I literally laid it out on paper so I could put it towards my goals, like how my month's laid out. And I know if they do this much, we have this much. If we do this much, I can see it. I can see it grow. And so that's my big takeaway.
I love that messenger chat idea also. I think sometimes momentum is simpler than we realize. And sometimes it's just a teeny tiny tweak on something that we've already done. I know April Holkenbrink, she was at this Springfield location, and she was mentioning that she had never really thought about, like, when she did a messenger event, to like get the next one booked. So I think even in terms of like when we host those, little individualized event, it's always the goal to like have the next ones. And sometimes I hear from leaders a little bit of a scarcity around like, well, if I do that, then that's creating more work for me. But that also means potentially higher paychecks because we're getting duplication going on our team. And it's not like it's always going to be that way necessarily. Like, the goal is that then you teach your people and your people do it with their people, and then and it goes and goes and goes. And so, Lisa, I love your template ideas, like what I'm thinking, like where you have the chat and they can tag the content, right? Is that what you're doing?
Yes. So they're actually gonna, like, I sat and thought about it, like, for the first, like, all Sunday. I was like, I can't just do this because we've been doing those, but they're not getting much results in there. Nobody's being followed up with because they're not sure how to do that. And so I really thought that out, and I'm like, what's the best way? It's letting them experience it. And so then they just naturally know what the next step is, and so they're going to see, they're definitely going to like feel it and figure that out, like how that's going to roll. And I think then they have it so they can just copy it and work it,
And they don't have to create the content. Like
Mhm.
it's so
Yeah.
simple for them. Like
Yeah.
the fact that like us as leaders are making it
Mhm.
like rolling out the red carpet. So they're literally
Yeah.
copy pasting or cabbaging
Yes.
onto whatever call is being
Yeah.
hosted. Like what a gift,
Yeah.
seriously, to them. Even
Mhm.
like the girls that were able
Mhm.
to come to all of you guys' retreats, like or even your launch or watch parties. Brandy mentioned that if we're going to go through the trouble of putting on an event, why wouldn't we reach out to each person? I've definitely dropped the ball there. So yeah, I think also the follow up piece. Sometimes I almost feel like we almost like check it off the list, like okay, done, did it, and hoping that people that we're hosting for organically like understand like the follow up process, but usually they don't. Like
Mhm.
it's kind of a few and far between thing unless people have prior network marketing experience or they're just intuitive like that. A lot of people kind of need handheld even in the follow up process. So one thing that I have done, I have event wording pinned in the notes in my phone. That way, is a one and done. I don't have to type out like every single time I'm hosting. It's like, hey, here's what to send for invitations. And then I even have like the once we finish the event, like, hey, how do you think that went? Like I have it all typed out. I can send it to you guys if you want. That way, it's rinse, wash, repeat every single time. So that's one thing I really feel like if we could get better this year at even the simplicity of like, whenever you are noticing that you're saying the same things over and over, pin it in the notes in your phone. I even have like the symptoms questions pinned in the notes in my phone. That way it's literally quick copy and paste. And then when I'm teaching someone, like my friend Cindy, like, hey, here's the graphic, the Candida chart graphic, and here's the questions I ask every single time. Pin this in the notes in your phone, save it to favorites. Cause I think that's the other thing is like we want people on our teams to be even more systematic than maybe we have been and a little more organized than we have been so that it's a easy process, as they're learning how to share. So good. Oh, Laura, are you saying you'd like to see a current like template for the messenger event? Yeah. I'm sure we could probably share content there. Who else besides Lisa has a current one?
Laura, I
Amber?
added to mine.
Okay. There you go.
Well, I'll piggyback on Lisa since I'm unmuted now.
Yeah, go
I'm
for
just
it.
so like, how scary would it be to host one by yourself? So I'm so thankful for Lisa and Brandy just like seeing that vision and going, yep, we're just going to do this. And so, and really like we looked for a long time of like, where can we do this? Because there wasn't an event close to us. And so, Lisa looked all over Nashville, which I'm surprised they didn't have one in Nashville, to be honest. But it all worked out because I absolutely am like so proud of us and just love that we got to do this together because that was a huge thing to just like do a retreat. And I'll be honest, I didn't tell you guys this, but like a year ago, I talked to Cassie Howard and I said, I just feel like God wants me to just grow this community, have retreats, like all these things. So like that was such a huge thing, like a dream for me that I would never have had it not been for Plexus. So like for me, like I just realizing like the things that I get to dream about and have as like goals now, I would have never had those had it not been for Plexus. So I think that's really fun. Yeah, and like what Lisa said, the people that came were meant to be there, and she did such an amazing job. Like she provided a lot of the food, and it was so yummy, and it was just so good. But I think it all just came together. And having Brandy there is like you can tell your people something a gazillion times, but when it comes from someone else, it's like, how do we reach out to people that we don't know? And I'm like, go back into our three-way chats where I've given you this, but I didn't say that, but I'm just like, Brandy, what would you say to them? And Brandy would sit over there and tell them, and I'm like, this is a brand new epiphany today. So it's like, it's just so great to have backup. And it's like, part of me was like, am I that terrible of a leader? And I'm like, no, they know this stuff, but it's just great hearing it from someone else. So it's just, I think collaborating with these two brilliant people was like so good for my girls to hear this, even if it was the same thing they already knew, like just hearing it from someone else. And not me, like the power of the three-way message, right? But in person. So, so thankful for them. I think it all went well. It was just a great location and all the things. So, my takeaway was I think it was Autumn Swanhart and her messenger events. Like I was listening to her and she was like, her sister quit on her. She dropped from Ruby down to like 185 points. And I was just like, I feel that. We're like, people just quit. And it's like, yeah, Brooke, I know. It's like one step forward and two steps back sometimes. And to hear that was just, but her messenger events, and I was sitting there and I had that thought of doing, like, if you've ever been to like a Pampered Chef or like a 31 bag event and you're like, you buy the thing and if you're a guest and then if you want to host something you get more points. And I'm like, why could we not incentivize people, if you're doing a message event, say, hey, if anybody else wants to have one of these, you get, $20 off your next order or something like. I don't know what that would be, but and just incentivize the guests to maybe host a messenger event or something, or have one in person and incentivize them somehow. But my wheels were turning with that as well. But um, I loved that. That was one of the one things that just stood out to me. But yeah, the power of three, going silvers, all of the things were just, I think, on point, especially with the convention credits. So that's what I'm focusing on, is helping people go silver this month. So
I'm actually really excited to get back to Power of Three. I feel like, and I don't know, I just think that that's where the magic happens. And there's nothing wrong with talking about plus ones because, I feel like we were in a season where maybe that's what was needed, but there's a lot of plus ones every single month. And so I would love to see an uptick in silvers. I think if we focus on that, we're going to have more silvers. And can we all just agree that we want to work towards earning that stinking retreat in Arizona? Can we just really go crazy this month trying to help and develop silvers and senior silvers? One thing that I personally am kind of earmarking as okay for me to be doing more of is jumping on the phone. I don't know if anyone else in here avoids that. I don't know if it's our generation, our age. Brandy and I were talking about this the other day. But so hence my willingness to jump on the phone with my friend Cindy. And I was like, you know what? I think, and Amber, this goes with what you were saying too. Sometimes when you can just be either in person or like chatting on the phone with people, or like you guys were in people's space for a day and a half or 2 days, whatever it was, you can save so much time. Like, I think we have to look at it as an investment in people and in business, in their businesses, in our future businesses also, because there's just so much ground you can cover. And yeah, when they hear it, it just hits different. Even if you've said it literally 20 times to somebody, sometimes they're like, oh, you know what so-and-so said, you know what Brandy said at that event? And it like clicks in their brain finally. When we were doing the Q&A, Kinley's people were asking questions and they were like, Kinley, you can't answer. We want to hear Justin and Megan's answers. But I think it's the same concept, and probably similar for our team. They probably wanted to hear from Kinley, like her perspective on stuff. So yeah, so good. Ange, do you want to share, Angie, since you were another one that hosted a retreat?
Yeah.
We haven't yet. I want to hear about it.
Yeah. It was great. And I just want to say this is the first event that I've hosted that I actually charged. I don't know what you guys did, but I've hosted many retreats and I always pay for everything. And I was determined I was not doing that because I rented a house. I provided all the food. I had a photographer, a social media expert come in. I had someone there to do workouts for 3 days. And my husband's like, babe, you can't just keep paying for everything for everybody. You have to stop. And the first day, it's going to make me cry. I was so scared because I'm like, I'm going to roll this out and no one's going to come. No one's going to pay to come and listen to me for a whole weekend or do these things. And within about 60 minutes, 8 people paid a deposit. And I ended up having, I don't know, it's what I needed, I guess. I had 8 people spend the night, Friday, Saturday, come home Sunday. I had 10 more people come in on Saturday. They bought day passes. And it was amazing. Like, we had the best time. We had some good praise and worship during our workouts. Like, I don't know if you guys know this about me. I am super dance queen of America. Like, I cannot hear music and not move my body. I do it constantly. And I just had the praise and worship music on the whole time. And it was just a confirmation to me to know that God was in the space. And no matter what happened, he was going to get the victory regardless. Um, and so, yeah, we had the best time. We had really great training, um, headshots. Some people were nervous about that. Believe it or not, I was like, it's so, but I do it a lot. So for me, it was nothing, but a lot of people were really scared. Like, what am I going to wear? How am I going to fix my hair? I'm like, dude, just be yourself. You want natural pictures that just look like you, that look like fun. And my daughter was one of them. She was like, I don't want to do headshots. Are you kidding me? And so somebody else, like someone was just saying, I think Amber, like letting other people speak, right? Somebody else, I couldn't convince her as her mom. Someone else was like, Allie, of course you have to get your pictures made. And then it was totally fine, but it was just somebody else giving that little tidbit of confirmation that this is fine. Um, we did on Friday night, like I said, there were 8 of us there Friday night, and we did dream boards. And I do that every time, but this year I did something a little different. I did word dream boards. So I provided a lot of different magazines and stickers and things, and I didn't want them just cutting out pictures because we've done that and it's amazing, but I just wanted to do something different. And they had to pick out words that, like, what word describes you for 2026? What are the words? Like, I'm going Ruby or whatever it is. And they did an amazing job. One lady stayed up until 3:30 a.m. because she was so determined to finish her board. And when I got up the next morning and I saw it, I was like, this is totally her, exactly the things that speak to her. And that was really cool. And then, like I said, we had 3 different sessions of workout. So that was good. And people were so funny because some of them work out, some of them don't work out. But just getting in the mindset of, hey, it's a new year, let's get our bodies moving, that sort of thing. We had a lot of laughs. We shared a lot of Q&A time, basically with the 8 people, because Friday night we did it and Saturday night we did it pretty much after everyone else was gone. And I'm telling you, there were so many tears that were shed, just like being real about life and their business and their struggles. And it got really personal. And with a couple people that I don't really know that well. And so I just know that the Lord brought the right people in the right space. And the house that I rented really could only sleep 8. And that was 2 on air mattresses. It was a big house, but there wasn't a lot of like bedroom space. So it just worked out so perfectly for that situation. My brand new Silver came. She drove 3 hours to be there. My brand new Fast Start Gold came. She lives about an hour and a half. She came. She spent the whole weekend. And some of the regulars that always come, but everyone really enjoyed the training. They loved the social media training. Super Saturday itself, thumbs up, 1,000% better than last year. And we were actually supposed to, I rented this same house last year, but we got snowed out because it's in the mountains. And so we ended up having it at my house. And I think we had, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 people come. And so a lot of them were like, I'm so glad we finally got to come here because, it's in the mountains. There's the jacuzzi and a sauna and all the things. But it rained all day Friday, all day Saturday, and the clouds broke free. And Sunday morning was the most beautiful picture overlooking the mountains. But it was fine. I was like, Satan, you're not going to steal this weekend. It's going to be fine. I don't care if we have to stay inside. But we did get in the jacuzzi even when it rained. I actually met Autumn, I can't pronounce her last name, Swanehart, last year, when I got invited to go to Silver Stars. And I had met her then. She's actually lives in the same town that my dad lives in. And so we hit it off and chit-chatted quite a bit. And I was so proud of her for her presentation that she did. But she and I had talked previously about her messenger events. And she said it's been a total game changer because prior to her kind of changing things up and asking, every single person to do a 3-way chat, she said, I don't know if she said this on the call because I knew these things ahead of time. So forgive me if you already know all this, is that as soon as somebody gets added, she does a 3-way with them right then. She doesn't wait because she's like, she wants to get to know them and then she can introduce them in the group and so on and so forth. And she said that really made such a big difference in the participation that's in the group. She keeps it smaller instead of like, Julie, Jana, and Jenny all pairing up to do a messenger event together so that they're all bringing tons of people. They kept them small and intimate. So that made for more. I think she said she did like 50 something in a month. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And so and plus, and we kind of know this from doing sip and shares, is that if you, and I'm just like, don't take offense to anything that I say. I'm just, because I've done it all the ways, But she said, when you're doing like what we have done to sip and shares, and we would have, okay, all three of us are going to host a sip and share together.
Oh,
What I have found is that whoever hosts it at their home, they're the ones who are the most determined to get someone there, and the other people aren't. Because it's kind of no skin off their back because they're not really the host. You know what I mean? And so I felt like when she and I were talking, it was kind of the same thing. It was like, well, whoever is the hostess, they're the ones bringing the people. And then if Karen wants to host, do a separate one for Karen.
mm-hmm.
And then I've been in direct sales and network marketing for over 30 years. And this was like the game changer for me because this is what I used to do when I worked in direct sales. Everyone who books a party, so to speak, gets a special. You book it tonight, get it on my calendar. You're getting a gift. You're getting whatever. And when she said that, I was like, why? I mean, drop the mic. Why haven't I thought of that with this situation?
I think because we haven't been party driven per se. I almost feel like that is a tagline that somehow got shared in Plexus. Maybe because like Jessica Heffley was able to do it without doing many of those.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I do think it's worth trying different things because you just never know. Yeah, Brandy, were you going to say something?
I was just going to ask, I don't know how to put my hand down. There we go. Angie, can you give us some examples? Because I had that thought too. And I think Lisa probably brought it up about like no, it was Amber, like incentivizing certain things and parties. What, like besides throwing free product or whatever, what kind of things would you give to a party host? Because like, I feel like you could give a free hydrate or something, or would you give like Plexus swag? Like, what are some of the things that you would come up with? Because you are a gift giver, so I know that you have these ideas.
Well, thanks. I'm a big proponent of giving gifts that I sell.
Mm-hmm.
I think, why not? And most likely the people that you're going to be incentivizing to do this, they might not be customers yet. And so if they're not, then what better way to incentivize them? And I mean, it's going to be an investment because it's not, I mean, maybe you could say we're going to give you a 7-day sample pack. Okay, there's that. But I mean, 7 sticks, that's still about $20 and then you got to mail it. So to me, I'm like, why not just give them a whole bag of not slim, but like hydrate?
Because just drop ship it.
Yeah, because by the time you pay the shipping, we pay, like if I go to the store and do a little pink bubble wrap mailer, it's $7. Yeah. So you might as well just drop ship it from Plexus. I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. Yeah, you could do a frother and pay like $10, but who wants a frother if they don't have the products?
Right.
And I would personally, like, I would rather give my business the money than Amazon. I mean, I do drop ship those once somebody joins. I think you could do that. I think you could do the 7-day sample pack if they're close by, whatever. I don't know. Like, I'm just always a fan of giving gifts as the products that we sell because that's what we do. I mean,
like most popular products too, like a bag of, you could like give a choice, like bag of active, bag of hydrate.
Creatine, baby.
Creatine.
Never know. But one of the things I was thinking about is like when you're on that and people are getting all the information and you take the risk of saying, okay, whoever books a party now is going to get XYZ. They're not going to get it until they actually host it. I mean, that's a no-brainer. However, they could get, people to show up and it's nobody, or maybe they get nobody to show up, So then you kind of have to know, well, I mean, for me, I would probably put a stipulation on it. You have to have 5 people show up. Because anybody could say, yeah, I'll do it. And then nobody shows.
Well, they'll work harder to get 5 people there than if you don't give them a number. They'll make
And
sure that the peeps
I've
are there.
Yeah, I've often thought back through. I don't really have anything down, but I've thought back through the whole party idea. More so when you're in person. Like when I used to sell Longaberger for 12 years, I would go to the party and I would have gifts ready to give to somebody if they booked something on my calendar. It wasn't a Longaberger basket. Good Lord, I couldn't give those away. Except for my kids' house are full of them now. But just different things. I don't even remember. It's been so many years, but there was always an incentive. And then once they host it, then what they offered with that company is you get a 50% off item, which is a huge deal with that company. So I've kind of thought through from time to time, like, how could you incentivize if you're doing in person, a little bit different, but if you're doing an in person thing, you could like find a way to make it so where you could write up some sort of idea. Oh, I see Lisa saying, I'm offering a giveaway for first 10 guests required to complete the survey. Oh, that's good.
Mhm.
You could write something up to where it gives them the incentive as to what they're going to get. And we used to give like the 50% off, plus then you would get free dollars to go towards your purchase or whatever. And I mean, to me, if somebody's brandy new and they get their first three people, I can't outgive what Plexus is going to do. I mean, I can't give somebody, I mean, I'm not going to give somebody $350 to go silver. You know what I mean? But
That could be worked into what you say, because I see Joanna do that a lot of times.
yeah.
Is like you help three people, you were user referraling three times, during the event, and you're going to make X number of dollars.
Yeah. But you could easily like, have like a graphic that shows host a
Yeah.
party and then just make it as if it's their reward because it really is their reward.
Right. That's what Joanna does, which I think
Yeah.
is fun. I mean, because it is a piece, and anything that in person too. Like you could get some cute but kind of more inexpensive water bottle type of things and put it as like a hostess gifty.
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
maybe be a little different than online. Where you don't have to
Right.
show somebody.
Right.
Lisa or Angie, can you explain the three-way chat thing again? How you mentioned that, and then I don't understand that.
Okay. So what she was telling me is that when people join the group, so um, let's say that I'm setting up a group and you're in there with me and it's my brandy new party, but you're helping me with it. And so I add Julie, Jana, and Jenny. And so as soon as I add them, then I start a three-way chat with me, you, Julie, me, you,
Okay.
Jenny,
Got
me.
it.
And then I introduce you. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have so much fun. This is my friend Julie, blah, 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 my friend Megan. And you just kind of get to know each other. And she said it just kind of gets things rolling a little bit better. Like they start to be excited about being in the group.
That's so smart. I
Yeah.
never thought about doing that because then I was confused because it was like, how would you know who the sponsor is of the people? But if it's yeah, I see what you're saying now. Okay, that
I'm
makes sense.
doing it and I'm the only one adding people.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to start the three ways.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well,
that,
you or me or me as a leader would.
well, I would because it depends on if I'm the person, if I'm the newbie basically, and you're helping me, then I'm going to tell because I'm inviting all the people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna start a three-way chat with me, you, and Julie, and say, Julie, this is my friend Megan. She helped me get started, and she's amazing. Blah blah blah. This is my friend Julie. Tell a little bit. So she gets a feel for you too, and doesn't feel like, oh, who's this person?
So actually, the person that's inviting is also creating the three-way chats.
Right.
I like that idea of putting the responsibility on them, even if you kind of help them know what to say, but where they're taking the responsibility to like create the conversations, because then there's already a conversation before even the follow-up conversation.
Right. Because
Awesome.
I know them, and I'm introducing them to you.
Mhm.
And it just breaks the ice ahead of time.
I love that.
You said something earlier, Megan. I was going to piggyback off of, and now I just lost what I was going to say. I'll think about it and come back.
Sometimes it's just these tiny tweaks on something that we're already doing.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I wanted to give enough time. Who else is on here that didn't share yet? Oh, Brooke and Becky. Becky, you hosted. Do you want to share about your watch party? She hosted a watch party with
Hey.
peeps. Hi.
Hey. Can you hear me? Okay. So yeah, mine was sort of last minute. Like Amber and Lisa had invited me to theirs. But I have a lot of people that are local and I knew that they wouldn't go because I already had some people say, well, I might come to your house for a little bit and we'll watch it together, some mites there. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to host it at Bezos and the coffee shop here in town. And that way people can just drop in. It'd be easier. And so I provided brunch for everybody. So, yes, I had a little money out of my pocket, but that was totally fine. I enjoyed doing that. It was fun. To be honest, the takeaways, though, I felt a little distracted. The room was very small, and we had some technical difficulties in and out for the first hour, I'd say. So that was a bummer. And so every time something happened with the TV, I had to go ask the people that, were trying to give people coffee to get their screen back going and stuff. But it ended up working out fine. And I had, let's see, I had at least 4 or 5 people show up and it turned out great. I was really glad I did it. It was actually my first one to host. So,
Hey, proud of you.
I just went for it.
Love that. Did you guys get the recording? I saw the email come through with the link last night.
Yeah.
So you guys can go.
Definitely will be rewatching that because I did miss some of it. So
When you're the hostess too, sometimes like it's a little bit extra distracting or someone pulls you to the side while you're trying to listen to something or whatever, which is totally fine. But yeah. Brooke, did you want to share any of your takeaways? Who else? Oh yeah, Wendy's on too.
I liked well, I think it's more I have to just keep trying to find somebody who wants to share. I feel like I've just been in this hamster wheel for such a long time, but when Sheila Medina was speaking, I really liked what she said. I don't have my notes in front of me and I have to run soon because I have to go to basketball. But I think like just not this the idea of like, okay, you just can't quit. Actually, I feel like I got a lot out of like the question and answer session afterwards. Like I felt like that was like the most helpful. But although I loved when the doctor was talking and like all the science and like that, I kind of geeky that way, so I like all that. But and it's honestly it's kind of more like, well, okay, this is just more like belief building and like I already know this stuff, but it's good to hear it again and for other people to hear it again. And I mean, I had a couple of teammates there, which was great, but it's the boys who don't do anything. So I'm just like, okay, boys, like, what are we gonna do? But no, I think I just needed just to be around the environment and have belief built back in because I feel like it's been like the worst last 6 months ever of my business. And so I think I just have to keep asking and keep more conversations going. So I just needed to be reminded of all that stuff, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought it was a really good reminder, just a very balanced reminder in all the areas, really. And it's basic. Yeah. It's like back to the basics.
I know, like it wasn't anything like mind blowing. It's all the stuff that I know and I know to be true. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it was Alec maybe that said, you're not behind, you're in progress. And you just have to believe enough to keep going. So I just felt like belief was a theme, a little thread that kind of wove through all of that. So, okay, really quick. I have been talking to everybody, reminding everyone to go listen to those Diamonds in December videos, including myself, because basically I think everyone I've talked to basically said, oh, I caught some, but not all of them. Tina compiled them into a one resource, like little mini website. So it's literally a clickable resource. I'll put Ruby chat again, but like, if you can like encourage your people to go be listening to that. I listened to Christina Williams. I think I might've listened to hers earlier in December, but I heard it with different ears this morning. So many good one-liners, like super good. It was all about like discipline. Rebecca Folks, I listened to her too. It was phenomenal. Like such good stuff. So that's like, I think Jordan asked like, what's your personal growth plan for 2026? It can be that, like, at least for this month, to listen to those little shots in the arm, in the morning when you're getting ready for the day or whatever. It's just a quick reminder to listen back through those and just get your people listening also. Even if you have to like throw out a little gifty prize for people to do it, do it. Also, we kicked off a Silver and Six. I totally forgot. Like, I had thought about it at the end of last week, but those duplication bonuses that Plexus is giving this month have doubled. And then it's like, that's the theme through the end of March. So like, we can really make some things happen if we're focused on that. And so I thought, you know what, we need to do a Silver and Six training chat. And so that kicked off this morning. It's not too late to message people and see if they want to be part of it and add them. I dropped my two very most favorite videos. Sometimes we forget some of the resources that we initially used in the beginning. And the Lori Harrison video and Jessica Sphere video were the two video reasons. Those were the two reasons I started to share about Plexus, because those two videos shifted my perspective. And so I'm actually sending them to people on my team, and like customers and or people that have dabbled in the past, and just as a little perspective encouragement. So anyways, I threw those in the Silver chat. It was actually later last night than I meant for it to be, but I was like, well, maybe if someone's up late or up early, they could listen to those. They're really good. So anyways, utilize that. I also want to do this fun little race to Silver, but I think I'm going to hold off for another week or two for that. So I'll keep you guys in the loop on that. But I do think that Silvers and Senior Silvers, and even your existing people that have worked the business for a hot minute, they can be in the Silver and Six chat and like do the little IPA challenge each day. So, and we have our gold chat and our ruby chat still going. So I'm encouraging people to, put their, vote on the polls each morning for posting, or throughout the day. They're posted in the mornings. And then I don't feel like anyone's doing this yet, but I would really love for people to like throw their IPA sheets in the chats as they get them done. I just think it would be that kind of next level accountability. And I'm like, even if they're not perfect. So I loved Amy's idea of the 3-2-1-1 follow-up or IPA system, the 10-10-10-10. Like, even if it's not a sheet, but it's just like that on your brain where you start tracking. And I think, Lisa, you had such a golden nugget on our collaborative team call about a tracked goal grows. And I think that might be the theme for 2026. We have a team call tonight at 7:30. Katie Durand is going to be our guest speaker, and she and her mom are a fun Plexus duo. And so Katie, I think, is senior gold and her mom is gold, I believe, but they're going to be just sharing their story and giving some tips for going gold. So whoever you feel like needs to be on that call, just remind and encourage for them to pop on. I feel like I'm sliding in a home plate, getting some things out. Sometimes it's in my brain before it's actually like put out to the team. So sorry for the late notice on that, but it'll be good. There's always going to be a Tuesday training, or like the end of the month is going to be actually an opportunity Zoom call. But this week and next week will be centered around training. And I think Becky's going to share next week and co-host next week's call, I believe. So looking forward to just, giving the team little nuggets to like launch and to go and do. Okay, let's see. Am I forgetting anything? Okay, yeah, I think that was it. Silver and Six chat. Team call tonight. Don't be afraid to get on the phone with your peeps and help them get to Silver. I do think that's the theme. That's the theme of the month. Also,
that's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
You mentioned you have a hard time getting on the phone. Guys, I ask every single person to get on the phone with me.
VIPs when they start?
Before even.
So do you sign them on the phone?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I literally, before our call, I was messaging a woman who told me she was signing up 3 weeks ago. And this is the third time I've asked her. I'm like, listen, I have some time tonight. I have a call from 5 to 6. I have another meeting at 6:30, but I've got time. Mm-hmm. Let's hop on a call together. Let me help you. Let me answer some questions for you. Because she reached out to me that she wants to get started, but she still hasn't. Yeah. And I just feel like so many times if you take away I mean, I know it's pressure when you get on the phone, but you take away the unknown, so to speak,
Mhm.
whenever and then someone gets distracted because you're texting back and forth, or my phone rings, or somebody walks in my office, or whatever. But when you're on the phone, it's like you have their undivided attention for the most part. And I was just gonna say, like, if I don't ask, I'm getting in the habit of not using absolutes. Most of the time, I ask most people to get on the phone with me. And it's not 100%, but it's more than it would be if I didn't. And this weekend, one of my big themes with my team was, um, what is the answer if you don't ask?
Mhm.
Friday night, I had people sending out messages to all of their VIPs, inviting them to join Super Saturday virtually. And they were like, oh, it's too late. I'm like, it's not too late. Have you asked them? If you haven't asked them, of course they're not. And
Right.
actually, my brand new Silver, who's an older lady, invited her 3 people, and one of them got on and got her 3 codes.
Awesome.
Not
Yay.
even, get this, she used to be Senior Ruby in Plexus like 7 or 8 years ago. Not my girl, the girl that she just signed. I don't even
Yeah.
know. Like, I don't even know the answer to the question of who was she under before. But I'm like, if you don't ask, it's a definite no.
Mhm.
And plus, $25 versus you get $30 in codes back. That was brilliant on Plexus's part.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So
That's
when
all
you're
right.
on the phone with them, are you making sure that you ask them to share?
Well, I guess the biggest thing that I was starting to say is that if they're already a VIP, absolutely. Like, I've changed my perspective there. But a lot of people I'm getting on the phone with that aren't VIPs yet.
I try to make sure I ask if they're interested in the business too, or just products.
Mm-hmm.
That yeah, because I like to know right off the bat if that's something on their brain. Because I feel like more so now, like I'm signing people I don't really know,
Yeah.
or sometimes they just haven't expressed to me because it's so hard over text to know exactly what they really
Right.
want. So I feel like you can get in a lot in a 20-minute or even 10-minute conversation.
And I honestly feel like if you ask the question, if you're verbalizing it instead of like through text,
Right.
if you ask me, hey, will you speak on the call next week? And we're on the phone, I mean, maybe in the beginning, it was a little harder to say no because because we're right there talking on the phone, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And maybe, and I feel like it's kind of that way with people, like they're a little bit more like, well, maybe, instead of no, no,
Hmm.
not interested in that. When you're on the phone versus if you text them, then I feel like they're more, quick to say, oh no, oh no, I don't want to do that.
Well, and if I'm on the phone with a potential, like 99% of the time I can sign them before I get
Yeah,
off. Like, because we've chatted through all the things. So then it's just like, well, is there
yeah,
any reason we can't get you started now? Like, I can pop your order in, it's fast. So I think it's almost easier to close when you're on the phone.
yeah, for
And
sure.
I think it's like that practice, like making ourselves practice the ask of like, hey, who do you know that would also utilize these products? Like, I know it was mentioning this to multiple of people that I've been on calls with recently. Like, make it the culture on your team. If it hasn't been yet, it can be now for 2026. Like, you can even verbalize, hey, it's the culture, or this is what I do every single time I help someone get started. I always encourage them to grab an accountability partner or 3 because we have these bonuses going this month. So I like, just practicing talking about it because it makes it so natural. And then like, you can just ask, like, is there anyone that comes to mind that could benefit from the products that you know? And then they'll probably start thinking and saying names or
Yeah.
people. And I feel
And
like it gives us the end to say, like, well, I would be more than happy to help you help a friend. Like, you just have to connect us.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in some of my verbiage, I got this from someone who is a realtor. And this was several years ago, and she was giving these ideas of how if somebody doesn't need a realtor, then she'll ask the question, who do you know that blah, blah, blah. And so mine is, who do you know that can't sleep, can't poop, needs to lose weight, or needs more energy? Instead
Hmm.
of I'm just saying, who do you know that could use these products? I'm giving them ideas. Like, who do you know that can't sleep, can't poop, can't, needs to lose weight or needs more energy? And they're like, huh, yeah. instead of so this was another thing that was big this weekend is like instead of asking a yes or no question like do you know someone or do you like this or have you watched this video, going into it, and I don't know if we learned this from Phil Jones or where, but going into it with the idea of assuming that they already watched it. Hey, what'd you think about that video? Assuming that they've watched it. Assume that, what questions do you have? Assume that they have questions. Because if you say, do you have any questions? We all do it. We're like, nah, no, we don't have any questions. We got it all.
Yeah.
Kind of changing that perspective. So we did that all weekend long. And anyways, it's fun.
I think that's the thing too, is like learning how to ask better questions, you know, and recognizing, like listening to like what we're even asking people so that they're a little bit more even compelled to send an answer, or it plants a seed in their mind. Cause like, oh yeah, who do I know that struggles with, but it plants the seed because even if they're not ready to rattle off a list of names, they'll start thinking, and it's like, we brought the awareness to them.
Yeah.
You know? Okay,
For sure.
girls. Well, I really believe that 2026 is going to be very momentous. Like, I just feel like we're set up for like the rocket ship. And I feel like people that have been consistent and faithful for a long time are going to see movement happen. I think people have like stacked their teams throughout 2025. There was just a lot of things that went on. And I think that I just feel like there's a lot of good things, new growth, leaders locked in, and just really engaged. And I think we're in a good place. I have a new nephew getting ready to be born, so I'm super pumped about that. Angie, I don't know if you were on when I said that, but no.
Is that Max and Ashley?
No, Isaac and Madeline.
Oh,
They're just like across the field, and she's having a home birth. So, exciting.
I've been encouraging Meg. I'm like, girl, you got to pick out your grandma name.
Oh yeah, and it's a boy. Did I tell you guys? They found out it's a boy. So, very fun. So we haven't had a boy in our Abigail was our last baby. So for 9 years. So like getting to buy baby boy stuff. So fun. My mom was like, boys just need gumboots and a shovel. And they're happy. You should have seen Abigail's face. She was like crestfallen. It like totally was flashback of Maddie at a couple of my sonogram appointments. She was like so hoping for a sister. I'm like, it'll still be a baby. It'll be great. All right, girls. Well, I need to run, but thanks for chatting. This is all good stuff. And I'll see you in the chats with our peeps. All right. See ya.